Hello, this is Tricia Skillman, Director of the Tesol program, here to introduce you to the curriculum. To earn a Tesol certificate, you'll need to do 4 things. You'll need to complete 27 credits of Tesol coursework with a combined GPA in these courses of 2.7. You'll need to successfully complete your practice teaching course, which is Tesol 435 and occurs at the end of your program. You need to show that you have met the foreign language study requirement, and you need to show that you've met the cross-cultural studies requirement. I'll be explaining these in more detail next. The Tesol coursework involves a variety of courses. The first is Tesol 401, an Introduction to Linguistics, which really gives you the background you need to have a vocabulary to talk about language, to understand how English is the same and different from other languages, and how we can understand teaching English when we're working with people from different language backgrounds. That course is a prerequisite for Tesol 404, which is Understanding English Grammar. Many of us are native speakers of English and have never really studied English grammar in any depth. We may be able to write beautifully and speak beautifully in English, but when asked by a non-native speaker, why do we say it that way? Why do you say, I have eaten instead of I ate in this situation? We often won't be able to come up with a good explanation. This course allows you to explore the grammar of English, learn the terminology, and better learn how to explain these things. This course is taken at the same time as Tesol 405. Tesol 405 can be taken afterwards, but they're usually taken together. Tesol 405 builds on what you've learned about English grammar and says now you're going to turn around and teach this English grammar to a student who may not speak English at all fluently. How are you going to communicate the concepts about how English works? How are you going to make an effective lesson? Tesol 410 looks more in depth about second language acquisition and looks at it from a variety of different lenses. What does it mean in terms of our brain work? What does it mean in terms of the social value placed on the language that is being acquired? Is it the same as our first language, second language? What if it's multiple languages we have? What are the political realms of second language acquisition? All of these things help us not only with our own language development as we study foreign languages, but it really helps us look at the students we're working with and decide whether or not we can use a certain technique or start at a certain point given where they are in their acquisition of English. Tesol 420 is a Methods and Materials class. The Methods and Materials classes are broken into 2 because the first will focus on basic communication. How do you work with a true beginner, someone who doesn't speak any English and you don't speak any of their language? Where do you start? How do you communicate? How do you prepare a lesson? That's what this course focuses on. Tesol 421 is the second methods class, and that follows up on working with intermediate level learners and students who can already communicate with you in English but are starting to have to use English for other purposes. They're having to read and write in English. Maybe they want to go on in school in English, or they're using it for business purposes. And so you're really learning how to work with intermediate level learners. The final classes in the program are Tesol 432, which is a seminar in Tesol, and Tesol 435, which is a practicum in Tesol. And they are taken together. The seminar supports the work that you're doing out in a ESL classroom. And in that ESL classroom, you're finally getting to really put into practice all of the different aspects you've learned in the program and be an assistant teacher in a classroom for a total of 40 hours over the course of the quarter. And you'll teach some classes on your own, and we'll come and observe you, or you'll videotape and we'll observe your videotape and give you feedback and help you grow as a teacher. We also occasionally offer Spanish for Educators, which is an elective for students who wish to continue their growth in Spanish, or perhaps they need an extra course in order to complete our language requirement. So these are our courses, and these are the course numbers that will be referred to in the following slides. Here you can see the flow of the courses. So as you decide which courses should I take which quarter, how many quarters will it take me to finish, it's important to understand some of this information. There are these introductory courses, Tesol 420, which is that methods course, Tesol 401, which is the linguistics course, and Tesol 410, which is the second language acquisition course. These are all courses that can be taken at the beginning of your program, and students may even take these courses prior to being admitted to the program. This next set of courses in the middle are courses that have prerequisites. So in order to take the second methods course, working with intermediate and higher level students, you have to have completed Tesol 420. In order to take the grammar classes, Tesol 404 and 405, you have to have already taken the Introduction to Linguistics course. Again, Tesol 410 can be taken anytime. Tesol 432 and Tesol 435 have to be in your last quarter of TESOL courses. The best situation is that you've already taken all of these courses in quarters prior to teaching Tesol 432 and 435, but we can combine it depending on your needs and your schedule, but it must be in the final quarter. There are many options for scheduling your courses. Most students finish in 3 academic quarters, but the program easily allows for extension up to 2 years, or as intensely as a 2-quarter, 6-month option. You can click on the links to these and also visit our web page here. The web page is one that you will have already visited. Let me take you there. There we go. And this talks all about the program, and you can click on the curriculum button and it will take you down and explain again the courses. It will talk about the typical schedule we have in the program, and these icons help you identify whether the course is available that particular quarter online, face-to-face, so these are the online, the face-to-face, or in some cases you may be able to take it abroad in Mexico. It also provides you with sample schedules, so you can look at the samples and see different ways that people have pulled their own curriculum schedule together. This is a place where I can give you some one-on-one advising if you contact me about what would work best for you. Here is another way of viewing the courses that are offered in the program. This top line of programs are the courses that are offered face-to-face on the Bellingham campus. The courses here in the middle, if I can get there we go, are courses that we offer in a summer program in Querétaro, Mexico. And the bottom are courses that are taught online. So in any quarter you can look down and see whether you want to take a face-to-face course, whether you need an online course, whether you want to combine it with a Mexico program. So this is an important schedule that stays fairly steady from year to year. There may occasionally be a change, but this is something you could use for planning. Each of our courses really has a goal of giving you experience working with English language learners. So in each of our courses, we have some time that you spend working with English language learners. For example, in the linguistics class, Tesol 401, you write to ELL, that's English language learner, pen pals, and you analyze their language. In Tesol 405, which is the teaching grammar course, and 410, which is the second language acquisition course, you're a conversation partner, or you volunteer in a classroom, and you reflect on a student's language learning experience. And this is completed in 10 hours, generally outside of class. The method courses, Tesol 420 and 421, request that you have require that you have 20 hours of outside of class working with an English language learner. And we'd like you to volunteer in an ESL classroom, observe the methodology in that classroom, and assist with learning activities. Tesol 435 is your practice teaching, what we call the practicum. And you're a teaching assistant in an ESL class, you're helping with classroom instruction, and you're trying out all that you've learned, and that's about 40 hours outside of class time. We can help you locate a place to volunteer, and there are many students out there who really need your help, so it's a wonderful combination for us and for those programs. There are two requirements that I mentioned in my first slide to exit the program. You do not need these to enter the program, but you do need them in order to earn your certificate. One is a foreign language exit requirement. We have this to encourage empathy and because you learn so much about English by studying another language. So certificate students should have the equivalent of 1 year college level study of a foreign language. And that can look like several different scenarios. For example, you could study 3 years of French in high school, and each year of high school study is the equivalent of 1 quarter college level. So those 3 years would equal 1 year of college level. Maybe you're going to combine, maybe you had 2 years of Spanish study in high school, but then you studied a quarter of French in college. That's fine. It does not have to be three college quarters or equivalent of the same language. ASL is considered a foreign language. So you could have a combination of ASL in high school, 2 quarters of Japanese in college, and that would meet our requirement. Of course, a full year of study of any language at college level will count. In some cases, you may have been raised bilingually. In that case, we'd like you to, at some point, either in high school or in college, to have taken at least 1 quarter at college or 1 year in high school of a foreign language. That's so that you get a real empathy for what it's like to be in a classroom and learning a language. And what some of our students do is they may have had 1 year of high school Spanish, and then they participate in the Tesol Querétaro program. We have more about that Querétaro program in another presentation. We also have a cross-cultural study exit requirement. And before receiving your certificate, you need to demonstrate that you have studied about another culture in some depth. That may be through immersion. Perhaps you went to a non-English speaking culture for a minimum of a month and stayed in one area, got to know the culture a little bit, and experienced that. That can count as your cross-cultural study. You may have grown up bilingually, biculturally. That certainly is your cross-cultural experience and knowledge. You can also complete a 3-credit class at the college level of the study of a non-English majority culture or of an ethnic group. Again, the goal here is to get a different lens to see the world differently. One of the most important aspects of teaching ESL and EFL is your ability to adapt to other cultures and to see things through other eyes.